Learn English through story. The Forgotten Mentor. In a bustling metropolis, there lived a man named Richard, a successful corporate executive. He was known for his sharp intellect, strategic thinking, and unwavering ambition. Rising from humble beginnings, Richard had clawed his way up the corporate ladder, and now, in his mid-40s, he was at the pinnacle of his career. He lived in a luxurious penthouse, drove the finest cars, and was often seen dining at the most exclusive restaurants. Yet, despite his success, there was an air of restlessness about him. Richard's life was governed by one principle: success at any cost. He worked tirelessly, often late into the night, sacrificing personal relationships, hobbies, and even his health for his career. He was respected by his colleagues but feared as well, for he was known to be ruthless in his pursuit of excellence. One evening, after closing yet another lucrative deal, Richard received an unexpected email. The sender was Paul, his former mentor from his early career days. Paul had been a senior executive at the first company Richard had worked for, and it was under Paul's guidance that Richard had learned the ropes of the corporate world. The email was brief: Richard, it's been years since we last spoke. I would love to catch up if you have the time. Warm regards, Paul. Richard paused, recalling the man who had once been a pivotal figure in his life. Paul had taught him many valuable lessons, not just about business, but about life. Paul had always emphasized the importance of balance, integrity, and humility. But over the years, as Richard's success grew, he had gradually lost touch with Paul, consumed by his ambition. Curious, Richard decided to meet with Paul. They agreed to meet at a small, unassuming cafe tilde copyright in a quiet part of the city, far removed from the hustle and bustle that Richard was used to. When Richard arrived, he was surprised to see how much Paul had aged. His hair was now completely gray, and his face bore the lines of time. Yet, there was a warmth in Paul's eyes that Richard remembered well. They exchanged pleasantries and talked about old times, but Richard could sense that there was something more Paul wanted to discuss. Finally, Paul leaned forward and asked, Richard, are you happy? The question caught Richard off guard. He hesitated before responding, of course, I am. I have everything I ever wanted. Paul nodded slowly. You have achieved great success, Richard, and I'm proud of you. But happiness is not always found in what we achieve. It's found in how we live. Richard frowned. What do you mean? Paul sighed. Do you remember the last lesson I tried to teach you before you left the company? About balance? I told you that success should not come at the expense of your health, relationships, or integrity. Have you maintained that balance? Richard's mind raced. He had everything: a thriving career, wealth, status. But as Paul's words sank in, he realized that in his relentless pursuit of success, he had neglected many aspects of his life. His marriage had ended years ago, his relationship with his children was distant, and his friendships had withered. Even his health had started to deteriorate, but he had brushed it aside, thinking he could deal with it later. Seeing Richard's troubled expression, Paul continued, I once knew a man who, like you, was driven by ambition. He too achieved great success, but in the end, he found himself alone, with nothing but regrets for the choices he had made. I don't want that for you, Richard. Richard looked down at his hands. But I've worked so hard for everything I have. What was it all for if not to be successful? Success is important, Paul acknowledged, but it should not be the only thing that defines you. You must also find time for the things that truly matter: your family, your health, your peace of mind. Those are the things that bring true fulfillment. Richard felt a wave of emotion wash over him. He had been so focused on climbing the corporate ladder that he had forgotten why he started in the first place. The joy of his early successes had long since faded, replaced by a relentless drive that left little room for anything else. "Is it too late to change?" Richard asked quietly. Paul smiled gently. "It's never too late, Richard. Life is not a race to the finish line. It's a journey, and it's up to you to make it meaningful. Start by reconnecting with the people you care about. Take care of your health. Find time to enjoy life outside of work. You don't have to give up your career, but you do need to find balance." Richard nodded, feeling a sense of clarity he hadn't felt in years. As they parted ways, he thanked Paul, not just for the meeting, but for reminding him of what truly mattered. Over the following months, Richard made changes in his life. He reconnected with his children, rekindled old friendships, and started taking better care of himself. At work, he was still driven, but he no longer let it consume him. He found that by living a more balanced life, he was not only happier but also more effective in his career. And so, Richard learned that true success is not measured by wealth or status, but by the quality of one's life and the relationships that endure. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.